Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into one of the most important innovations in the world of technology, Linux operating system. We'll explore its origins, its open source nature, and how it was inspired by Unix. So if you are into tech, make sure to watch till the end. Coming to Linux operating system, history, architecture, and key points we can discuss today. History of Linux, developed by Linus Torvalds in 1991. It is open source and community driven, inspired by Unix. About Linus Torvalds. Linus Torvalds was a computer science student at the University of Helsinki in Finland. In 1991, he started developing a new operating system kernel as a hobby project. Initially, he created Linux because he was dissatisfied with Minix, a small Unix like system used in academic settings. On August 25, 1991, Torvalds announced Linux in a Usenet post inviting collaboration. The first official version, Linux, which was a 0.01 version, was released later that year. Over time, developers worldwide contributed into its improvement, making it where it's to today. So, Linux operating system is open source and community driven. What does open source mean? Linux kernel is freely available and anyone can modify and distribute it. Unlike proprietary OSs like Windows and Mac OS, Linux encourages collaboration. So, which is Linux is open source, which we can work on it freely. But Windows and Mac OS is not a open source. This is closed source. Okay, the source code is available under the general public license. Community contributions like having large corporations like IBM, Google, and Red Hat invest in Linux development. The Linux Foundation ensures continued growth and development as well. So, developers, companies contribute to this Linux kernel. So, Linux was developed by or inspired by Unix. So, what is Unix? Unix was developed in the late 1960s at AT&T Bell Labs by Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie. He is Dennis Ritchie and he is Ken Thompson. It became the foundation of many modern operating systems. How Linux was inspired by Unix? Linux follows Unix principles like multi-user support, file system hierarchy, and command line interface. Many Linux commands are directly borrowed from Unix, like example like ls, cd, grep, chmod commands. Unlike Unix, which had licensing restrictions, Linux was free and open source. But like Unix is having some license restrictions. Okay. Coming to architecture of Linux. So coming to architecture, we are having kernel, core of the OS, shell, interface between user and kernel, and file system manages files and directories. You can see the architecture, application, shell, kernel, hardware, and utilities. Coming to kernel, which is the core of the OS, like the kernel is the heart of Linux. It acts as a bridge between software and hardware. Functions of kernel, which is process management, memory management, device management, file system management, and types of kernels we are having monolithic kernel and micro kernel. So process management handles running applications and CPU scheduling. Memory management allocates and manages system RAM. Memory itself, it is a management and allocating the RAM. So device management communicates with hardware like disk drives, keyboards, etc. File system management is organizes data storage and access. Okay. Coming to monolithic kernel and microkernels, used in Linux, monolithic faster but larger in size. So micro is itself like smaller but slower since processes runs in user. So, like monolithic applications, micro. So which is mono is a large in size, micro is a smaller. Okay. Shell interfaces between users and kernel. Shell is the command line interface, CLI, or geographical interface that lets user interact with the Linux system. See, kernel is like a think of the kernel as a brain of the computer. Okay, it controls everything from handling running program to managing memory and talking to your hardware like your keyboard or mouse. Okay, that is comes with kernel. Coming to shell, shell is like a translator between you and the Linux system. When you type a command, the shell takes it and tells the kernel what to do. It's like talking to your computer in a secret language. Okay, that's what they are mentioned, that command line interface or geographical interface that lets you interact with the Linux system. Coming to functions of the shell, takes user commands, cls command, list command, change directory, make directory. Other than commands can, by using command line interface, it is going to send to the kernel. Provides a command line interface, CLI, for automation and scripting. Supports multiple types of shells like bash, ZSH, and fish, which is Bourne shell, kernel, and KSH, and different shells are there, bin bash shells and all. Types of shells in Linux, three we have mentioned here, which is born again shell, jet shell, friendly and interactive shell. We're also having different other shells as well. We can discuss later on that point. So bash shell, which is default shell in the most Linux distros. Jet shell, more advanced features like auto completions. Fish, which is friendly interactive shell, user friendly with better defaults. So coming to file systems, then manages files and directories, which is file system, uh, which is Linux organizes data using a hierarchical file system. Key features of this Linux file system are bin, boot, dev, etc, home, library, media, mount, opt, temporary user. These are the structure of that file system. Okay, structure of that file system, we can discuss this in detail when we are doing a practical session. So everything is a file, even devices like dev or SDA on that path. Hierarchical structure, different partitions like home, etc, var. Okay, common file systems in Linux are ext4, most common, fast and reliable. XFS, good for large scale storage. Then advanced features like snapshots, BTRFS. Okay. Linux is a versatile, powerful, and widely used servers, desktops, and embedded systems. See, Linux is an operating system which is having a very powerful, which is used in different types of desktop servers and embedded systems. We are having a lot of different topics to complete to discuss on that, and we can have a practical sessions as well with the commands, and one by one we can go through. This is the first first video of the related to Linux course. Okay, so that's a quick breakdown of Linux architecture. We explored the kernel, um, shell, and file system key components that makes Linux powerful, but there is still a lot more to learn. Okay, in the next video we'll dive deeper into other essential Linux topics. Okay, like Linux commands, process management, user permissions, package management. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Let me know in the comment what specific Linux topics you would like to see next. See you in the next video. Happy learning. Thank you. Bye.